Very, very warm. Good evening. This is Arunava Chaudhuri. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. It is the 23rd of December 2025. And we will once more talk about Indian football, the latest happenings tomorrow. FC Goa's final game in the AFC Champions League 2 against Istiklal. FC Goa with a lot of injury problems and also talking about all other things Indian football today on the show. And of course, at the start of the show, as always, as I like to say, like, share, and subscribe to Arun Foot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com. And thank you at the moment to 3,554 subscribers. So thank you. It's only growing. I know I said at the start of the month we wanted to reach the 4,000 mark. Looks a little tough at the moment, but who knows? Maybe with all the collaborations. Thank you to Hiren, Curious Harry. We did a collab yesterday, him and Playmaker India. Also, Musa, thank you for joining in. Of course, I was on Hiren's channel, and a couple of weeks ago, I was sitting in the house of Rock Baba and did a longer interview with him. What's went wrong with Indian football? 50-minute conversation. I think it's worth a look and a read and not a read, a hear. Sorry, rather, because it's a podcast on his new channel, Zero Ball Knowledge, ZBK. So thank you very much, Shashwat, also that you allowed me to launch your new channel. And as we speak today and talk about things, we will, of course, come to speak about all that is happening in Indian football. Again, I earlier today did a piece on the AIFF and sort of the support of the women's football team and women's football in general. A big year for Indian women's football is coming up in 2026. The senior women's national team, the under 20s, the under 17s, all for the first time ever have qualified for the AFC Asian Cup in the women's game. So that's a big year, but the preparations are not going well, even though the women's committee of the AIFF yesterday got together and met and talked and discussed and looked at things that, to me, it's very, very worrying to see what is happening, so to say, in that system. And it's not to the level that I would say. I think the AIFF is trying to do a good, they're trying to do whatever they can, but is it good enough or is it not good enough? And that's my concern at this moment in time of where we stand or where we are. Can we turn things around in the right way to be prepared for that Asian Cup? And therefore, for me, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but it's very, very tricky to say the least. Where the women's game is at this moment, the IWL is rather being held as a tournament than as a proper league. Um, two 20-day windows, so to say, and yeah, the exposure that they've been supposed to get, they're not getting that, and all of these things adding up, in my opinion, very, very worrying, I have to say. And yeah, hope they also get sorted. And meanwhile, conversations are happening in regard league structure, league system in India. And but the question to me is, yeah, I don't know where we are, where we're standing, where we're going with that, right? Because if we look at things, Rutro, welcome back to the channel. Hi, thanks as always for joining in. To me, a big concern is, and Ashish Negi put it out yesterday in putting the numbers out. Other people have put out numbers to me and saying, hey, listen, the AFF has money. And to me is, if things continue the way they are going in the AFF, I think the AFF will run out of money in the next few months. They are running, um, you know, a league. They're running a system um, without the clarity of if they have got enough money to actually run that system. That's worrying me, to say the least. That's worrying me a lot. If you ask me. Um, but yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. And yeah, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. Committee proposing two groups, one in Bengal, one in Goa, but question is who will broadcast and where's the revenue for clubs? Rudro, that is not what the committee is proposing. That is what a committee member has put forward. Uh, 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 um, you know, which is more of what has been put forward by the AFF side. So this is not a committee proposal. The committee spoke yesterday. The committee are speaking. I've spoken today. I don't know if they're still speaking. That this thing that is being again, guys. What I've told you again and again: do not always believe what's being put onto social media by certain people. Right? You have to know who are their sources, where is the info coming from, and is the information right. My understanding is yes, something like this was proposed, but to do and sort of something like this to say, hey, listen, let's try and reduce the cost and keep the costs low, and let's keep it running. um yeah. So therefore for me, Rudra, you're asking the right questions in regard to the broadcast. That is one. um the revenue not only for the club but for the federation, the All India Football Federation, for them, ISL has been generating revenues for them, right? Because Reliance was paying them 50 crores. Now, instead of earning revenue, the AIFF has to go out and spend money on it. And that is a realization, I think, which is tough. Which is tough for the All India Football Federation. I think it's tough for the system. At the moment, given the realities, given of what all is happening, it's very, very clear to me that this is not working. Right? To me, the way that things are at this moment in time, as I see you, it is not gonna work. And therefore, this 1%, again, I want to be optimistic, this 1% chance that I've always spoken about, we're still speaking about at this moment in time. How these people will do corruption without money. Raj, where is the money for corruption? Even earlier, where was the money? You know, uh, so I don't know. Again, to do corruption, you need money. And if you've got 5 rupees and you say you want to do corruption on that, I don't know how you're going to do corruption on that. Well, I said clubs play in AIFF organized or own league. Rudra, this is, I think, a fundamental question. East Bengal already has said, uh, uh, you know, um, right, that they, I think certain clubs are under the pressure of having to continue. I know from a few entities that if they shut down and they don't hold, nothing is held and they have to shut down their teams, then most probably that team, club, franchise, whatever you want to call it, will disappear. So there is a huge danger for a few um, who need a league to happen. I think that is something which is playing on the mind of the AFF. So let's wait and see. I think the clubs don't want to play an AFF organized league. Let's put it this way. But I think they are in a situation where some of them are going to be forced into something or the other. If you ask me, if new league is made top tier, AFC and FIFA will cook us. No, Raj, they won't. The question is, how will that happen? How does it happen? At the moment, the ISL doesn't exist. The I League doesn't exist. The I League 2 doesn't exist. The I League 3 doesn't exist. So the structure that we've now known for the last 6 years, let's say 6 years, that structure at this moment in time in December 2025 doesn't exist. So if the ISL disappears, if the I League disappears, and a new league is created with X number of teams who say, okay, we're willing to play this, right? Uh, so then the whole process starts of saying, hey, listen, this is a new top tier league. So AFC FIFA cooking us on this matter, I don't see that happening. Hi Ashish, अगर हम 2036 ओलंपिक्स इंडिया में होगा, first of all, Ashish, नहीं हो रहा है. Again, whoever is giving you this dream of La La Land, whatever it is, let me tell you, the situation in and around the All India Football Federation, this Messi tour, problems across multiple federations in India. The sports minister saying, you know what, we'll have to hold elections by December next year in all federations in line with the Sports Governance Act. You are thinking that is so don't think. And even if India says we're going to host 2036, where is our preparations for that from a sporting perspective? So, मैं होगा तो हम वर्ल्ड कप 2038 क्वालिफाइंग कर सकते हैं कि हम तो प्रिपेयर फॉर प्लेयर्स इन ओलंपिक्स. नो, वी नॉट. आशीष, इंडिया is going to go into the Olympics as the most underprepared country in the world. If we continue, right? If we continue like we are at this moment in time, we're going to be the most underqualified team in multiple sports, or multiple national teams of India, men's and women's, will be underprepared to go into an Olympic tournament. But yeah, we are not in a position of talking about Olympics, and forget even 2038, because qualifying for a FIFA World Cup is much more difficult than as a host playing an Olympic football tournament. What will happen if there is no league this year? Will AFC and FIFA involve, and when can we see a normalization committee? No, Renal. Theoretically, no. Not holding a league doesn't mean that FIFA and AFC step in. Again, let's get that thing right. They need to have a reason to step in, and league matters normally is something which is with the national federation. So from that perspective, I don't think, my logic is no, I don't think that is a reason for them to stop it. Now, as a committee can step in if there are other reasons. The question is that the AIFF is in such a mess. Again, everybody who has a problem, I think even fans start writing messages, letters to FIFA and say, guys, you know what, the AIFF is in a very bad shape, you know, let's inundate authorities across the system, and yeah, going to be very, very important that we do that in some sort of form way. No one is talking about I League 2, I League 3, their players, staff, and referee livelihood getting fit. Of course, Rudro. Referees less because you've got, I see a lot of referees even from I League, ISL, who are officiating and who officiated in the Kerala Super League or Super League Kerala, sorry, and in the Bengal Super League also. You've got some top referees officiating. But yeah, I League 2, 3, who bothers, right? And again, that's the point, that this whole mess in regard to ISL is not only an ISL problem, it's a mess of the whole ecosystem, right? Will you use this time for a hard reset? Yes. Well, I need a hard reset in the AIFF. I need a hard reset also at my top level club football. But I have to be honest enough, who's going to help me do that? Who will come forward to do the hard reset? Because if me saying, hey, listen, I want a hard reset, that's nice. But who's going to help me, or who's going to make me be in a position to do the hard reset? Right? To me, it looks like if I look at the government, right, at the moment, if I look at the courts, right, AIFF themselves, the AIFF top brass at the moment is trying to stay as long as they can. If you would tell them, you guys, forget everything, you can stay for 10 years, they would do it. Daniel says to Ashish, bhai, don't kid yourself. We are statistically 2 or more decades or even 3. Daniel, we are most probably 3 decades is nice. I think we have not 30 years. We're most probably 40, 50 years behind other countries. And every day we are not doing something about our grassroots and youth football. We are moving behind other countries who are setting their house in order. Sir, ISL name it is with runs. I guess AIFF can't use ISL, right? Rudro, they handed back the rights of the ISL to the AIFF in regard to the tender. So theoretically, You've asked a good question. I would think at the moment, I think the rights are with the AIFF. If I get it from the Supreme Court, order, judgment, yeah, I think it is with the AIFF, if you ask me that way. From your point of view, should clubs give up or put up a fight against the AIFF? Fight. Randall, fight. If the clubs give up, clubs will disappear. Let's get this straight. If the clubs don't fight for themselves, nobody will fight for them. Right? If new league is made, then how I-League club and ISL clubs put together, we don't have structure. Raj, that's the question for the AFF to work out. At the moment, there is no structure. This is a free for all. We are in a void, in a fluid space, right? If you ask me, very dangerous, very, very, very dangerous for us at the moment, given the realities, right? So, yeah, very difficult. People think in 12 years we can set up Olympics. Hosting Olympics requires a lot of money and stuff. Government is trying to push PR narrative that we will host Olympics without any groundwork. Then again, hosting is one thing. I think India can host a World Cup. India can host an Olympics, no problem, right? But there is the sporting side of things, and that is where we are. We're not bothered. India would be, if you take your if you take care of your babu culture, if you take care of your ministers, if you take care of your celebrity stars, right? But I heard today of certain things from certain people that what people in other parts of the world think about us. And this is what India needs to recognize, if it likes it or not. India's reputation at the moment isn't the best. The reputation of Indians is not the best. And that also plays a part, right? We've had always, at least, I've known Indians are always seen as friendly, this and that. Now, India is seen, Indians are seen as scamsters. Indians are loud. Indians are dirty. All these brown folk perceptions. That's not helping us, right? We used to be, the jolly ones, the friendly ones, always laughing, always smiling. Seems to have gone. AFF still managed to hold AFC and FIFA till now. We didn't got banned. Raj, there is no reason for FIFA AFC ban. AFF has managed nothing. AFC and FIFA are observing, but AFC and FIFA need to have a ground to step in. They understand this. I've said this again and again and again. Give FIFA not holding your league is not a ground for FIFA and AFC to step in. As sad as it might sound. In terms of finances, what is the way out? For any sports to prosper in India, we need fans, and they are less in most sports, and even those who watch are not ready to spend much. Anish, your problem with the fans is, um, the Indian fan is, do we do sports for fans? Right? Simple question from my side. Is sports organized, held in India for the right? Or even around the world? Sports has become so aloof, you know, uh, that we saw during COVID, that coming into the system, you can hold any kind of league in any kind of sport around the world with no fans attending. So your fans, and the Indian sporting fan is the worst kind of fan, because why? Because the Indian sporting fan does not want to spend, right? The the so-called Indian sporting fan, if he has the money, even if he doesn't have the money, rather is willing 10,000 rupees, 15,000, 16,000, 20,000, 25,000 rupees, or other people even in lakhs, to go and see a Messi, then rather spend 100 rupees, 200, 500 rupees on watching a sporting game. Reality. We Indians are stargazers, super stargazers. They love superstars, right? Was the Messi tour about Messi as a footballer, or was Messi about Messi being a superstar? That's the question. I League clubs thought it's problem of ISL, not I League, and now they joined the Finnish party. Yeah, Raj. They didn't realize again, the recognition has to be for I League clubs in some sort of form or way. That you guys, your league, your product, which has been around, um, was subsidized by the ISL. Without the ISL, we would most probably not have had an I League in the last decade. You know, and so to me, these are some brutal realities of where we stand at this moment in time. We're not getting any solutions to those problems, those issues, and therefore we are stuck in a cycle. We're stuck in a bubble, and we're not getting out of that bubble. So therefore, for me, um, if the ISL issues are not sorted, there's not going to be an I League. And I've said this, and a lot of people say, no, no, this is not interlinked. Of course, it's all interlinked. Why haven't I League 3, I League 2 started? Or I League 3 normally by this time of the year is finished. Why is the IWL being held as a tournament, two venue tournament? Because the AIFF doesn't have the money to subsidize home and away in the IWL, right? Because the women's game, yes, it is more successful, but it generates even less revenue than the men's. Think about it. The ISL tender was for 37.5 crores. Corporates were willing to pay that. The I League tender was for 6 crores. Nobody picked it up. The IWL, 3 crores, one corporate picked it up, but then said, looked at the numbers and then said, thank you very much, Tata Bye. You know, that's the reality. So we need to keep those things sadly in mind. Kolkata is still stuck in 60s, forget 3 decades. Yeah, that is Kolkata has its own set of issues, right? Because Kolkata has not understood um, what it needs to do and where it needs to be. Kolkata, to me, needs to be at the forefront of development of Indian football. And that is crucial for Indian football that Kolkata is at the forefront. People who said ex players will make India better understand ex players doesn't mean good administrators. Renal, as I said yesterday in my live with Hiren and with Musa, um, Pele and Diego Maradona were amongst the best players to have graced this planet. Were they good coaches? Forget administrators. They were not even good coaches. Johan Cruyff, exception. Franz Beckenbauer, exception. Right? Look at the moment Cameroon under Samuel Eto'o, most probably, yeah, the biggest footballer Cameroon has produced. It's not even a mess, right? So being an ex-footballer as a qualification to run for an administrative post or being president doesn't work. I need someone as president. Given in today's India, let's be very clear. In today's India, you need political links, you know, and that leadership needs to be there on one side. And then who's your administrative head? I'd like to have someone as a GS or SG, whatever you want to call it, General Secretary, Secretary General, who's good in managing affairs. And I want a CEO who is working on the vision, on the outlook of Indian football. Babu and Mystery and Star becoming Parasite. Why becoming? What can a club like Kerala Blasters see who has massive fan following? What can Kerala fan do in this situation? Renil, having fans is nice. But again, I might be wrong. Have I heard the Blasters fans really in a big way, uh, you know, um, doing anything? Forget the Blasters. Have fans of ISL clubs actually come together and create a platform. I remember there was something a few weeks ago, months ago, where some of the fan groups came together. Why don't I see something big from the fan groups of the ISL clubs coming together saying, you know what, we need to fight for the future of our football, right? I don't see that, you know. So not sure. Very difficult to say. Who cares about fans? No, again, anywhere in the world. Very true. Hello, heard Bengal and Goa have given two separate proposals to AIFF for organizing ISL, but where is the money? What about Women's Asian Cup preparations? Uchut, the second question, again, I did a video on it earlier today, so if you haven't watched it, guys, do watch it where I try and answer some of your questions because my point is very clear. The AIFF has not done his homework, right? So do watch the short videos, help me grow the channel. Again, um, I'm trying to be the voice of sanity in Indian football, and for that to grow, I need your help. Maybe you're new, you're watching this, like it, share it, hype the videos, and get other people to join in. And I'm trying to be the voice of sanity in Indian football. And to answer Uchut, uh, again, you guys are hearing a lot. There is no proposal per se which has been agreed on. There are proposals being pushed around by certain people, but the group which is coming together is not agreeing because the single biggest question is the club still want a league not under the AIFF. You know, that is what they want. And the AIFF says, no, it has to be under us because the Supreme Court said, no, the Supreme Court said, you can make changes to the constitution. You know, I honestly don't see any single hope now. League not happening, grassroots worse than government against OCI. Ayush, it's a very tough situation. But hope is something which we as fans cannot lose. You cannot lose, I cannot lose, we cannot lose. Because if we lose hope, it is gone. Right? And what I said yesterday also with Hiren and with Musa in there, and I repeat that and I said it the other day also on Drogba's podcast conversation, face to face conversation, and it's been clipped on Insta as well. That we need to keep on questioning things, right? And yeah, I don't know where this is heading. The recent proposal of the committee sounds too brutal for the grounds. In my opinion, we just saw what happened to the Goa football ground due to Super Cup. There is no proposal. Guys, this is something which has been put to the committee, and then a committee member who pushed this idea put it out to the media. There is no proposal. If there is a proposal, you will see the AIFF making a release saying this is the proposal. This is not a proposal. This is an idea. I have said this again and again. Those who have been watching the stream for the last month, 2 months, 5 months, 6 months, year, I say this again and again with all due respect to everyone who's tweeting, writing, talking. Most of these people are just putting out things. That's the problem. Huh? I think you said right thing in yesterday live. If I still want to succeed, bring superstar. Our club should pay some money to bring that superstar. Indian love superstars. Love X9P. Yes, I did say that. But who's going to pay it, right? I gave that example yesterday of David Beckham, who I tried to sign for Mumbai City. And he would have been by far the costliest player of the week. There was no interest, right? Again, um, Messi is being paid in America by the whole league. Every club is putting up a certain portion of his salary to come to the MLS. So these are realities, brutal as they are. And I don't know if we can change it. It's very, very difficult at this moment. I know it's very, very difficult at this moment in time, but we are in a very, I don't know how we can get out of this at the moment. Good evening, Siddharth. Welcome back. Kalyan to 2027 isn't a third party interference like FIFA should ban us. Shivam, I think there needs to be a clarification from the government on that. Again, they've made this statement on the 22nd of December. So nobody's bothered about it for the next 2 weeks. I want to see if in January someone can clarify that. You know, Maidan fans thought they're going to survive without FSDL money. They were paying 50 crore, which was used to run the system. Until Kolkata fans come to reality, they're going to stay doomed alone. Then I think there are a lot of fan groups who are doomed. A lot of people are trying to tell me, the Super League in Kerala is this, Super League Kerala is that, and then we have other things as well to talk and discuss. Yeah, very difficult. Dada, Kolkata itself has been drifting backwards and everything. Whenever I visit, it feels suffocating mentally as well as physically. Shivam, what you're saying, I feel about India to some extent. I felt Delhi was suffocating from the air perspective. I still have a problem with my throat, you know, um, 10, 12 days after leaving Delhi. Um, I had a problem with the mentality in Delhi with certain people. It's like, oh, Kolkata is a little different. Kolkata is like it's a walking museum. But that has its charm, right? It has its charm. Again, Bombay is totally different. There's speed, there's this, that. Again, I love being 2 days in Mumbai, right? And Delhi doesn't have that also. Delhi is a different beast. Sir, if any league happen, if ISL not happen, let's say any other league gets started after ISL, rip, which level do you think we can sign in that league? Just we need Roberto Carlos, Follan, etc. 9XP, I'm not even talking about stars at the moment. If now a new league starts, I'll be brutal now. We're talking about bringing top level footballers, right? You're not even gonna get a quality beggar to come and play for us. Players will think twice, thrice before coming to India. And superstars even more. We have to build our league, whatever it is. Be it if the ISL stays, a new league starts, they're not going to go that path, right? At the moment, you're trying to hold an ISL on a budget which is moving towards I League. Dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous, in my opinion. Because we're setting the wrong precedent. We should be going, you know, you know. So yeah, reality. Don't think so. League will happen January or February, so we lost the whole season now. See that it was never going to happen, right? Even if you tomorrow sort out things, let's say tomorrow, as a Christmas present, things sorted. It'll take you at least 45 days to sort out things, meaning that we're already mid of Feb with certain other things. Then you've got a T20 World Cup, this, that, everything. We're lost, right? Therefore, why am I suggesting, guys, let's maybe think about losing the 25-26 season and focusing on what is the mid to long term future. I see a lot of people at the moment trying to keep together, uh, you know, um, and that is the challenge. At the moment we're just they didn't even remove the markings there, empty stadiums. Raj, they are doing it for the sake of doing it. And the BSL is a worse version of the Super League Kerala. I give them a lot of credit in Kerala that they've done a lot of things right. But again, for me, long term, the questions are financials. You know? Yes, Professor Patel have good political link. At least he bring Reliance to invest in Indian football. Yeah, he did. XMP, he did. Without Professor Patel, we were in a problem. Z didn't want to pay. Z didn't want to enhance its payments. So Proful then got, Reliance on board. Okay, BSF. Oh, so loved your stream with Hiren Musa Bhai. Knew of how you said breaking news for Musa Bhai and also with Dogo. Very nice conversations. And good to see unity of all. Thanks. Sanlata, again, with these guys, it makes fun, right? To have a conversation with Musa, with Hiren is fun. And with Shashwat, that's his real name, Drogbaba. Um, I met him the evening earlier with Akshata and his wife. Lovely conversations. right? And it doesn't always have to be football. But again, and with him, the long conversation was real fun. Kolkata and Goa think only of themselves. These states associations want only their clubs in the main league. The I League did not get sponsors because 8 clubs were from these states. Joseph, very right. Very good point. You know what? The IFA and the Goa FA, yeah, that's a point. And I remember one season where he had 4 teams from Kolkata, 4 teams from Goa, and 3 from Mumbai. That was the year where Mahindra, Air India, and ONGC were there. And so very difficult. BSL was always a flop thing to happen from the start to ending. It should be remembered as the epitome of unprofessional initiative. Look at who's behind it. BSL is more like a Cape tournament. Yeah. Then what is the solution for sports in India? Can't we make sports more experiential? Maybe teams doing events in school with players taking part or some interaction between team and fans during match. Anish, will that change? Again, India's problem is India needs to become a sporting country. And for that, education needs to, in my opinion, education needs to change. We need to strengthen sports in schools. I think that is one thing. Do we need athletes to go to schools and all of that? It's a nice thinking, but to me, that is not the thing. But interaction with the fans, yeah, does that, the guys who are coming anyway, does that enhance it? I don't know. If a national team perform poor, they boo player and coach. I think yes, I agree. They need to have accountable. Federation association need to be questioned, criticized for not giving development. Yeah, Murali, very right. And now sportsmen extended all federation tenure means a legacy case will rupee from one more year discussed and more likely is to remaining football death in 2025 food dust. Shanlata, you were supposed to, again, September elections, now they're saying December. Again, the government can't do it. And I think that the Indian International Olympic Association will step in, right? Do what's the next clubs can do. What's the next clubs can do? Then they need to talk to the AIFF and find a solution. The problem is that the clubs are not talking with one voice. Because understandably, Club A has its own issues, Club B has its issues, Club C has their issues, and Club D has their issues. To bring them under one umbrella is very difficult because they're not fighting for a common goal. And then you've got owners where you don't know what is this guy thinking, what is that guy thinking, what is this guy doing, what is that guy doing. Yeah, it's um, it is yeah, very difficult, very very difficult at the moment as things stand. Right, I see so far. Like, share, and subscribe. Only 12 likes. Guys, I think we can do better. We can do much, much better than that. Share it with other people to join the conversation or even watch the lives afterwards. Maybe get interested and maybe join in into the next conversation. We're at 3,556 subscribers. Thank you very much for the new guys who've joined in. Thank you and welcome to the family. And a reminder tomorrow, the final game. Uh, you know, um, FC Goa versus FC Istiklal, the final AFC Champions League 2 match for FC Goa, and worst case, maybe FC Goa's final game. So, um, yeah, a watch along tomorrow. A little later than usual, 9:30 kickoff. So, about 9:25, I'll start the live and yeah, let's wait and see what FC Goa can do in the ASL2 tomorrow. Said, how are we stuck in this compensation? Where was the beginning of this mess? The removal of the old board, 2022. The COA coming in, and then the FIFA ban. That is the starting point of all this mess. So the big thank you should be given to the gentlemen in the Supreme Court of India that they've put us in the mess we are in. Maybe if a men's player perform better, then maybe with different conditions regarding the answer if we qualify Asian Cup, maybe things miss, maybe some difference. No, even if at this stage, look at our women's teams doing well. Has that brought any more money? You know, any more money into the system? Even 1 rupee, 1 paisa extra, nothing. So Sorry, X9P makes no difference. Federation Association not giving proper development phases for youth football like in Japan, Europe. At least we need to have basic proper. Then these players play top team in AFC, they get thrashed. Morally, yeah, but it's also on the players. The players are getting away too easily, right? So it is on all of them. I work in corporate and we are okay spending 500,000 rupees on movies, but we won't spend on football as the experience is not good for casual fans like us. Anish, if you watch football around the world, how many teams are really successful? So if I take your logic of the experience not good, and I know a certain people who've been following, for example, Mumbai City, the Blasters, FC Goa, BFC, even Chennai, and new teams, BFC, yeah, all of them, 2013, 2014 founded. And they said the experience was great in the stadium, right? Um, so yeah, it is, and don't think again. I've gone to stadiums around the world. Not everywhere the experience is as great as you think it is, and it looks on TV. We booed and trolled social media root cause federation association. Murali, you've said this now multiple times. Again, the root cause, it's not the root cause. Don't, it's not. The root cause is not federation. Development happens at the grassroots level, at the ground level. Even with federation problems at ground level, people could do the right things. Even they don't do it. Sunday Trophy is permanent no matter what. Yeah, but Raj, that's a minimal expense, so that can run. The AIFF committee just assumed myths for Indian football, nothing more than that. They're still running away from their own failures. Say that, but you are part of a group where you've tried to question certain things. Nobody, forget the AIFF or no one in India questions themselves. Where's the accountability and introspection? None of them have. None of them do that. Right? The I League before ISL had 8 clubs from Goa and Kolkata, and due to this, the I League was not getting sponsorship. ISL was able to get sponsors because it started new clubs. Yeah, yeah. And sorry to say, Joseph, but Dempo Sports Club, Salgaoka, corporate teams, Churchill Brothers, a family team, they've never attracted outside sponsorship in that way, right? That's also reality. The Kolkata clubs have, but they've not done the right thing with that. No. When I was Dalal Mohan Gangte scored 12 goals and 3 assists in 6 matches in Guwahati Premier League. I've been following under age group for the last 10 years, but never seen player like him. Genjo, I saw him for the under 17s and with you know, uh, he was the standout player in that team. If I look at the whole squad, he was, in my opinion, by far the best, the best player in that team. And he has potential, but again, he has to play football. Is the Guwahati Premier League the level that this boy should be playing? So, what limit clubs gives you regarding Beckham? How much you are thinking and how much money you can sign Beckham? X9P, I'm not going to talk about numbers, but again, I tried. I put it out. The club, again, we had a salary cap and all that kind of stuff and marquee player limits. And he was outside of that. Yeah, see, we're writing some stuff without show credibility and people likes and engage with it. Rendell, that's the whole problem, right? That's the whole problem of a lot of people saying a lot of things without the knowledge and understanding of football. That's that's why I call it out these days. The only hope here is Vinay Chopra, sir. He'll take Indian football to new heights with leadership from Goenka, sir. Shushmit, I wish you all the best with Mohan Bagan Super Giants. Was seeing video of you, sir, interviewing Seema Jaiswal in 2017. You're still so remember the days, huh? Seema came over, did stuff in India for the ISL, and then went back to the UK. They'll team up and will serve for youth development. Surely, let them do that, Shushmit. मेरे दिल की बात का आपने sir will take it for high level. No one reached that level, but from downwards. Yeah. Again, Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, Mohammedan should be at the forefront of development, but they have been the biggest destroyers of Indian football. Hate me for this. I love this. Hate me. Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, Mohammedan fans hate me. You guys question your own clubs before hating you anyone. You are part of the problem, guys. Become part of the solution, right? Shushmit, it's also fine. You are a Mohun Bagan fan, right? And take inputs, yeah. Our people care about Derby. Now they watch it in Kalyan rather than Deva Bharati. No, don't have problem. We Kolkata fans still don't care. Match, in Kolani, if you do a Derby, it would be sold out. That is the reality of things. Oh, I forgot. Also, Steve H is national coach. Oh God, better and better. Kerala Super League does not no quality, no ball control, no good shot. I've not seen anything this year, so I can't judge it. But if you see full stadiums and all, that's good. But again, I want to see the money. People used to make fun of Steve Match, but he warned us all about Kalyan and his stupid things. Plus, he also warned us about ISL future. Nobody took him seriously. See that he didn't want it. He wanted to retain his job. He was part of the problem. If Steve Match warned us, then he should have warned and said, "Listen, sack me," rather saying those other things. Steamach got Jamil got Manolo got Lord Rahim, Lord Irfan, Lord Mohammed Sandesh, Lord. Yeah. Indians need to meet more with foreign football playing nations to produce more football so when the kids get the footballing gene from the other side. Shushmit, are you starting it? The clip of Bajaj saying people are ready to invest, put on the tender. Now people are questioning fun. People are realizing you can't even take criticism, deleting comments. Raj, how many things has Ranjit said and 100% has been wrong? Sorry, Ranjit. If you really wanted to make a difference, you could have. Profile might be set for a return as his cooling off period runs till July, probably. Okay, Shivam. Morvan has no issues. Why do you think going to be my next transfer target? A good management, I think, would be my transfer target. Any Australian you can recommend? Yeah, some Australian club management guys. Final match for Goa, literally and figuratively. Yeah, Shushmit, that has been clearly. If you read Manolo's interview with Marcus, um, it was in yesterday's paper. It reads like a farewell. It reads like an FC Goa farewell from the football scene. I find that very sad from coming from Manolo. Today I was speaking to brother who worked Jaguar 30 years, discussed with him some things, and in between said India has no football team, no shock, Indian football. I corrected him. But that's the other problem, right? There's a lot of people who think that Indian football doesn't exist. Shushma talking in this tech like I only cares about more. I don't give a. Siddharth, he is being sarcastic, so let Shushmit be. Knowing him, all fine. Why not a same management for the next transfer window? Exactly, Shivam. Welcome to the club. So Shaji was good. No, he was not. The lovely scooter guy who might make 10 messes on 50 crores should be thanked for this kind of situation. Shivam, forget 150 crores. Let him make one with 15. One with 15 crores. Then we can have a conversation. Then I would have respect for him. This is easy talking, right? And now this AFC Nations League, yeah, it's okay, but seeing a federation or things this don't will only benefit serious football nations. It won't solve our problems. We'll continue losing there. Shanlata, the tournament idea of the AFC Nations League is good, but it's not going to be only good for the big nations. It will be also good for some of the developing nations. The question is, in which bracket do we fall? Do we fall into any bracket? That is our problem. Do we fall into any brackets of conversations of what we could, should, need to do? Right? That's the problem. So uh, yeah, that's where we're stuck at the moment. I tend to focus on general level and work. She should nice. And from your point of view, what should clubs do now? Team up ISL clubs except Ismail stay with their plans until they have to change the concept. Do you see Fifth Pro looking into this matter? Daniel, Fifth Pro can only look at from a player's perspective, but FIFA have their own problems with FIFA, so I don't know how much that can work. So they're a player, yeah. But the ISL clubs are not speaking as one, right? That's my whole point. The ISL clubs are divided at multiple levels, and that's a problem, right? So what's this news about ISL on third week of Jan? AFC slot. PC Game Attack, there is no news. Nothing has been sorted so far. Yeah, some saying booed and trolling AFF seriously doesn't affect anyone. It doesn't solve any problem. Politicians are affected at least. Okay. No elections for F till December 2026. Seems like even God doesn't want Indian football to revive from this situation. Broski, let's see. I don't think that this is done and dusted. I think the sports minister will have to learn a few things in regard to how sports run and operate. And I think certain people will, at some stage, have to tell him, you can't dictate this. Yeah. The other, we are doomed till Hollywood release the movie Doomsday next December. Sure, I don't know how long we are doomed, but yeah, let's see. People just have to check the mess Cameroon is having right now. Ex-players president has two coaches for AFCON. Complete mess. I think their football culture is massive, which does the ground development. Daniel, Cameroon has less structure than India, I would say. Right? And forget structure. You're always talking about football structure, structure, structure. No, you don't need structure. If you've got crazy talent, the talent will break through, right? Look at this. What's the kid's name? Forget. At Leipzig. 18-year-old. What is his name? Forgot his name. Sorry, just one sec. Let me find him. Mm. What's his name? Got him. Ivory Coast. Yan Diamond, right? Crazy story. Born in Abidjan, moved to the United States as a young age, don't know how. Is playing in America. Then high school, this, that, everything. Went to Rangers in Scotland for a trial. They didn't sign him. But then joins Leganes in Spain for their B team. They realize how good the boy is, put him in. Um, Scores his first goal or first two goals, and then makes I think 7 million euro move to RB Leipzig. And now he's still 19. He's turned 19 in November. And Diamond, they're the most sought after players in European football. So and again, he's not been trained at some huge world class academy or something of that sort. He's played in some small little chota mota thingies in Florida. So if you're exceptional talent, you will be found and you will be given a chance. So if you wanna be good, you can still make it. Where did I? Sorry, one second. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Just one second. I lost. There we are. Ranju is real, getting millions. Unreal. Aura farming 270 crore for as a scooter. Up to sell for I sell 270. Let again, guys, don't. And Chavez, sir, is it true? Not only top you, but the people on the operations. Vic, I'm not understanding your question, please. Sorry. So is it true that people other than top are also incompetent in AFF and do basic studies always like that? Vic, not all people are incompetent. Again, this who are incompetent or not, again, you have to differentiate. There's a political level, which is the exco level, which is one, and then there's an operational level. Uh, you know, so yeah. So therefore, but there are also good people in the AFF, and the good people at some stage maybe leave, don't stay, and then move on. So if players like Gundeva, Gangte request you to arrange for trial in Europe, is there a possibility? Generally, they're too young. They have to be 18 plus. So at the moment, there is no point of having that conversation. Wow, Kalyan for another year. This is some sick joke on which no one is laughing. Perhaps God is punishing us for arrogance. Aditya, it's a 3 month extra at the moment. Let's see if it gets through or not. Sir, Praful Patel was good. New training football. Yes, Praful was much better. Guys, let's wait for a decimation of Indian football. Think of it like a stock market. It requires major correction before going up. Let's hope. Give up on my social media accounts because nothing is happening in Indian football. Give up on my social media accounts. Okay. No, Siddharth, never give up. Professor, please, for the love of God, for the love of God, please, I beg you, please, for the love of God, Professor, I am. Yes, and how will they know it exists? Because they see nothing about Indian football. Even in basketball slowly growing along with Indian tennis, but not Indian football. Where is tennis growing? Sharnata, Indian tennis has been the worst it has been in, I don't know, last 20, 30 decades. Last 2, 3 decades. We used to have world class players. Leander Pace, Mahesh Bhupathi used to be the best doubles team in the world. Sania Mirza, top level player. So we're nowhere near. Sometimes you need to stay away from sanity. Things will change, but current setup needs to be destroyed. Yeah, Shushmit, I think that's the problem. You know, we are in a situation where this the way it's running can't continue because this is destroying, damaging whatever little there is, and we are in a very, 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 very bad shape. Yeah. So, and people are not even realizing it, right? So that's the yeah crazy part. To ours, even AFC not in football issues, and all can see it. I saw you taking quick and rapid action in such these kind of cases. No, Siddharth, who says that? Again, you're making a judgment on things you don't even know what the AFC is doing or not doing. I can't say what, but the AFC is there. And UEFA, in some things, UEFA is even slower than the AFC. Have our gods abandoned us, Arunda? Long time back, Aditya. I'm so sorry, we're so sorry, Professor, please. Oh, Patel cannot walk in and clear this up. He's not Bachchan. The system is rotten. It won't change until it dies. Shushmit, the system completely will never die. So the question is, can you rectify certain portions of the system, or will you allow the system to continue the way it is? Because if it continues the way it is at this moment in time, we're doomed, right? Lowest info is not now. It could come in months and saying Indian senior football men's national knocked out of SAF. Shalnata, I think forget this angle of what results we're having on the field, right? On the field, we could be even playing Asian Cup. It could be the team could have qualified for the Asian Cup. I don't think that they could have won that group. The problem is off the field in the management of the game. So again, look at our women's are doing have done as good as they've never done, right? Senior under 20, under 20, under 17s qualifying for Nation Cup. What is it happening? By the way, I haven't heard about is OSFIS for a while. What happened to that? Shushmit, you and I need to talk about it again and then let's see if we can push it. Most of the African nations are good just because their players play in Europe and these players are called up. For example, Mali is on brink of falling to. Okay, well, look at their football team ranked 45. Broski, yes, but again, these players have still, a lot of these players, West African boys, have come through the system in West Africa. Even with all this mess, what really support the sinking ship, you've seen info for 3 decades, what keeps you still motivated? I'm trying to do things in the background to try and help Indian football grow in the right direction. I'm not just a fan, right? So I will try and do my things. Will it get better? I hope. Will it? I don't know, right? Good evening, Dark Knight. Profile did all things good, but at least he did something rather than samosa chai. Raj, it's not about did he do things all right or good or whatever. The most challenging part of managing Indian football is keeping the system running. Your biggest challenge. Forget everything else. You and I, we can all talk about XYZ topic, but to keep Indian football running is the most difficult task, right? So therefore, for me, we don't need to talk about this, that, everything. It is. It is the way it is. Our Indian players won't, but who foreigners of us will go to their home and some good leagues. If league does deserve really, they deserve better career. They shouldn't waste their lives in this mess. So not that's going to happen, right? I mean, you've seen Javi Severio leave FC Goa before an ACL 2 match and go back to Europe, and now he's joining a club in Cyprus in the winter transfer window. African nations have a lot of French-born footballers. The country's situation doesn't matter. We don't have that luxury. Shushmin, no. You're talking again, Morocco, influence from Europe, own development. Speak again, ex Mohun Bagan coach Karim Benchalisha could tell you a lot of stories about that. Um, Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, local development, international development. I know friends of mine who run academies in Africa, and they say, listen, you will not believe the talent. So, sir, a small feedback. Your content is very good. Just work on your thumbnails. Vic, thanks. Yeah, I know. Thumbnails is something which I'm very bad in. I try my best, try to be creative, but I've never been a graphic designer. So, I wish India had allowed sports passports to get better at football. Yeah, broski, listen, forget sports passport. It could have been done many years back. We would have had the players in the system, but it hasn't happened. I'm the one who pushed it. I've been the one per single person pushing for this for the last 24, now nearly 25 years. So is terrible coaching at grassroots the only reason we're not getting exceptional talents? No, Ayush. Terrible coaching at grassroots is not the only reason. Terrible coaching across the board is a problem. What do I say? Grassroots, youth, coaching, competitions, scouting. Sort that out. It'll take some time, but we'll be successful in I don't know how many years. Most probably 2, 3 decades. But it can be done. Why the hell ex Supreme Court judges, government officers, as AF members, do they understand football or its management? No, they don't. I also have some opinion that like I don't see India getting a proper top tier administrator even decades. We will always have a political two guy there, and I hope is the next one. Understand better. Renal, differentiate. You're talking at top administration is not the president. The top administration part to me is the Secretary General, and ideally, if the FF had a CEO, that would be my guy to say, you manage, you ensure that things work the right way. That's the only way, right? So it's a challenge, I know, but let's wait and see if the right person comes forward. Basketball governance. Yeah, but again, the president needs, if the right person is secretary and CEO, they can get the president to do the right things. Is time so bad in football? Yes, Shumit, it is very, very bad. Whose idea was to make this league owned and operated by AIFF? Supreme Court, Aditya. It won't happen. There's much bigger policy decision, bigger than football. Yeah. Indian sports are quite great in social media. Reports, history, papers, LinkedIn, respirator, it's a dead body. Oh, that's harsh, Siddharth. Some people don't realize the importance of a person when they are in power. Same goes for Casey. You guys hating him will love him after a few years. Nah, I don't think so. Sad to see Manolo leave after the game. Looks like it was last match. Augusto, it sounded like it. If you haven't read um, Marcus Magulao's Times of India interview with Manolo, to me it sounded like yes, this is probably farewell, and I find it very sad. Again, forget the failures with the national team, but yeah, it is the way it is. Who's responsible and main culprit for downfall of Indian football? Generally, there is no one mean culprit. There are many culprits. There are the group of people who put the case in front of the Supreme Court in 2017, right? Um, the gang who ensured that Kalyan Chaubey got out. There is the people who got Profit. The gang who got Kalyan Chaubey as president, take that blame as well as secretary at the time, getting Satya on board. All the other things that these people have done in the last 3 years. But again, even earlier, yeah, and that is something, yeah, no one seems to realize. In tennis also worse, but it's all like that. Yeah, Charlotte, most sports are in a downward spiral in India. If they themselves do not sense the seriousness of the situation, then why should we? Simon, because you and I care. You and I, we care. We care. These people don't. What do they care about? Themselves, their seats, this and that, everything. So why other MLS club pay for Messi, their opponents of Inter Miami? Dark Knight, because it is good for them as well commercially, no? Because Messi brings in money that normally would not come to the US. My thought process in 2014 to try and bring David Beckham to the ISL, but nobody realized it. Sorry, I've been surrounded by idiots. I say that. You have to have a vision. We are, they call plans, ideas, vision. We have a bunch of visionless, idealess, ignorant fools in Indian football. Sorry, but welcome. I can't see anything going forward. The situation can be easily avoided or yet. Simon, yeah, very difficult. Yeah, but chances are slim, very slim that these U17 all women teams do something at Asian Cups. How will they, with no games, no good friendlies, and just going with some few ISWL matches? Pranata, I'm very worried. Right? Yeah, then now our focus should be on off the field, rectify this off the field mess. Right now, our focus should be getting ISL back. If these their ISL entire small system will also struggle. Renal, forget small system, the whole system is struggling because of that. By the way, love the stream between you, Harry Bhai, and Musa Bhai. Expect more from this try in future. Thanks, Broski. Yeah, I will certainly invite them in, or I will join Hiren on his channel or Musa on his channel. Even with Drog Baba, it was a great pleasure to be on Shashwat's channel. Great fun to be, and of course, zero ball knowledge. I'm happy that he asked me to be his. Launch interview partner of the ZBK platform. India is probably the only country where their players don't go in abroad league to wear themselves long term, to be honest. No, Broski, there are a lot of players from a lot of leagues who don't really want to go abroad. Some do, but that's the individuals. You see, it has changed. I would have said in the past, English players don't want to go abroad. Italian players don't want to go abroad. Spanish players don't want to go abroad. Mexican players don't want to go abroad, right? A lot of Central American guys don't want to go abroad. So there are a lot of countries, you know. Kudos to you for at least keeping the system running for the years you worked in. Perhaps we would have started in 2010 and the effect would have carried all the way in 2025. And Simon, thanks. Yeah. So let's see. I agree. Your point of view, India should work on two levels, getting top class OCIs and also work on the grassroots ecosystem. Well, that's the only way forward. And again, it's not only two levels, OCIs, your top tier league, you have to work on and grassroots and youth level. Otherwise, we're going to get nowhere. Don't compare MLS with ISL. Most of you don't have any idea how hyper focused they are on economic viability and profitability. They won't survive without optimal financial health. Exactly, Shushmit, and that's the whole point, right? Everybody's been losing money in India, and they're still putting money into the system. In America, they would have shut. They've shut clubs. Right? They've changed cities, this and everything because clubs weren't working. Look at the good example. I don't know if you followed the story of Vancouver. The Whitecaps, of course, got Thomas Muller in the summer, reached the MLS final, and there was no clarity if Vancouver actually as a franchise would survive. So there was this danger that the MLS would move the Vancouver franchise to a US city. And now Thomas Müller coming in, a lot of PR, positive PR, reaching the final. There's that everything, filling out the BC Stadium. Even, British Columbia as a state, Vancouver as a city, they're doing everything possible to push the franchise. The technocrat is probably the most important post, to be honest. The president is there to get the things done through powerful political connections, etc. I don't think the technical director is your most important. It's a very important role. I think whoever is your either the secretary general or general secretary or CEO, depending on whoever is there. Yeah. So let's see. The only thing as fans we can do is come to the realization that is encouraging the web of any sport is a lost cause. No, it's not a lost cause. It's Simon, I know it is very deflating at the moment. The whole situation is very difficult, this whole situation. But never you, I, we should be thinking about sports in a way saying, oh, you know what? What's the point? Right? If you are in the situation saying, hey, what's the point? You've already lost. Right? And that should never be the case. You always say the main five pillars of grassroots, but how can we improve coaching? What's the way, like micro level or macro, each state using their resource to help the coaches in the specific state? Renal, it is not the state like building micro system. Renal, around the world, grassroots coaches, youth coaches upgrade themselves, right? So the job of a coach is not to say tomorrow, I've got a license, I've learned everything, I'm done, I don't need to learn. Quality coaches learn every day and try to become better. That is the most important thing. And it's on you, it's not on the system. We are putting too much emphasis on the system that the system will deliver for you or for me or for us. When I simply say forget everything, even if AIFF did some productive work, it could have been better, but ISL in mess. Busy playing badminton, you should give it all, but joking still. Yeah, but again, it is that sadly it is the way it is now. Forget management. In football, downfalls due to stupidity of fans. They've always celebrated small wins over long-term benefits. Biggest culprit, this includes me. Shushmit, that's a big statement. To make that statement, that you make that statement, um, as a fan, hats off, respect. Because this statement is bigger than anything. You have to realize that fans, again, what was yesterday? Musa said, right? Okay, there was a lot of opportunity around 2023 with the three tournaments won, SAF, with blah, blah, blah. And I said there was no substance. There are conversations with me, Hiren, and others where I clearly stated, guys, there's no substance behind this success, right? And sadly, if I like it or not, that's the reality. So this is where we are. Very difficult, very complicated, but um, and of course, Sushmit, as a Mohun Bagan fan, Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, Mohammedan, not today or yesterday. You should have been pressing your management to do the right things 30, 40, 50 years ago. Not maybe you, but the generation before you, the fathers, the grandfathers. Ranji Bajaj, agenda stopping. Yeah, Rakesh, he's been successful, huh? By the way, case returned to FIFA World Cup. Mostly, I don't care if he does or doesn't. Not my bother. The AIFF only cares about seats. Their next aim to stay until 2026. The share against of people like Vice President let him bring 50 CR year after year for the next 2 decades. Then they won't bring you a rupee, right? None of them can. That's the problem. We're about to bid for 2036 soon, but there isn't sporting culture. Even if we get that rights, how can we be a sporting nation? PC Game Attack, we're not getting it, right? This is one reality that I have to break to you. 2036, if India wants to get it with all that is happening in football, in other sports, now the sports minister is saying, oh, with all these sporting federations, they're doing everything wrong. I saw Changte's Viking trial. How did he do the trial there? What's the coaches tell about Changte at the time? Then I in 2018-19 had the opportunity to say, you know what, Viking was interested to give an Indian player a chance. We looked at certain names. Changte was one of 3, 4 players. Actually, ideally, we wanted 2 players to go. The others didn't want to come. Said, who's Viking? I don't know. Why should I go? You know? So he did well. They wanted to offer him. They did offer, not wanted. They offered him a contract. He didn't take it, or whatever reasons it was, and he decided to go back, and that's the end of the story. Ranjit agenda stopping OCI players also. Rakesh, let him. Right? Chance you stop. Let him. Let him. I will fight for the OCI players. Let's look at ACL 2 spot according to every minimum matches should be 23. Generally, and forget minimum matches. Right? There needs to be an exemption, right? So that's the spot on. Soccer is the fourth, fifth most popular sport in US, but the interest runs deep in the community. You will find several grassroots soccer clubs in every township. Yeah, every township means suburb, district, inner city. Yeah, that's the difference. Yes, sir, I've mentally lost it and only clinging to the word hope, which seems to be stretch. Simon, we don't have anything left, right? I'm giving this another 8, 9 days, and then maybe my focus will shift to European football. I jokingly I said to Hiren yesterday, I think we'll be doing Champions League watch-alongs or maybe Bundesliga, Premier League, whatever. African Cup of Nations we discussed even doing. Because there's no Indian football left tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really praying, hoping, wishing that FC Goa gets a good result despite of missing players. Players have left. They've got suspensions. David Timor is suspended. Ayush Chetri is suspended. Borja Herrera is suspended. Looks very tough. The coaching certificates are sham in India, marred with favoritism. Most pro-level coaches are at best C or D level coaches in West. Shushmit, even if there wasn't favoritism, they still would be CD level. That's your problem. Very few pro level coaches are really, really good. The few ones that I know, again, reality. Yes, the Shushmit Das saying it's true. Last day I saw Ismail was celebrating South Women's Championship victory and boast about it. And they were celebrating it like Women's Champions League. No, no. Yeah. You're playing a tournament against teams who've just been created to play that tournament, sort of. Harsh words, but at least we as fans can start the process with holding ourselves accountable too. Yes, Simon, that's very, very important. We can do that. Yeah. I hope Kalyan becomes Charlie Kirk in US. No, Aditya, um, I'm not going to accept that. That is something um, that you shouldn't wish another human being. If you like him or not, doesn't matter. But you do not wish him a Charlie Kirk like ending. Sorry, doesn't. No, not acceptable. Arrows have sent so many players out. Why is I League fans now only voicing grassroots already balanced going grassroots development? Grassroots development, the I League clubs could have done it in their past. No? They didn't do it. Sorry again to ask off-topic question. Which one is your all-time favorite jersey of India? I think you have seen Umbro Adidas ones over there. I would say the original Adidas one in the times of Stephen Constantine would be my favorite because that was good. The Nike one, which I still have, the Ranveer Singh one, which Ranveer gave me, um, the blue one with the white lining. So yeah, I can tell you about Kolkata clubs. The members of these clubs are intentionally filled with bottom feeders who are more interested in freebies and keeping the leaders in power. You know this. Yeah. Shushmi, that's the other problem, right? People don't want change. India denied travel to Iran for AFC match. They face action. Is it safety or something else? But they're friendly nation. Mohammad Murali, ask Mohan Bagan why they didn't travel. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Even Shushmit as a fan wouldn't know, right? So the salary Chang thing on I get there is probably 110 what he would get it here in India. Yeah, I would get more in India, but again, different. Hey Johnson, on the Changte unsuccessful move, can you draw parallels with Bajung and Bari for younger viewers? The risk, the challenge, the outcome, related the impact of such moves. Um, Johnson, the point here is that again, the clubs have been 20 years apart. When Baichung moved in 1999 to Bari, um, Baichung was the big thing in India, right? Still very young, but too good for the system. And Baichung wanted to play football abroad. But the salaries at the time in 1999, despite his salaries, East Bengal was ridiculous. For the football that we were playing, Baichung's salary in East Bengal, in my opinion, even in 99 was ridiculous. It wasn't as overpaid as it is, or it was in 2019, even more so in 2025, right? So that's one of the reasons. I think the sad part with the Baichung move was that Baichung had two major injuries, especially in this third and last season at Bury. Played limited football, and it would have been good also for the OCI story because Harpal Singh was at Bury at the time, um, Leeds United product, which would have most probably pushed that agenda as well. So Chante had the offer of Viking Stavanger, 3-year contract. Viking were willing to offer him. And yeah, it is sad that for different reasons, he in the end joined Chennai FC rather not taking up the offer, which I think Chante would be playing in Europe now if he had taken up the offer. FC Goa shutting down or Manol leaving? PC Game Attack, it looks to me both. If there's no solution in the next 5, 6 days, I think FC Goa are going to say thank you very much. That was it for the moment, at least, or in the worst case, shutting down the whole thing. One thing USA men's did to go for World Cup, but China failed. Where do you think they went wrong? Morally, China, where it went wrong is Asian qualifiers much more difficult than CONCACAF. That's the first thing. So for the US to get to the World Cup is easier than for China. And China, I was reading about a 17-year-old, 18, who's turned 18, superstar, young kid who's going to go to France, to Auxerre now. The best Americans play in Europe, and they get chances in Europe as well. I'm new to OCI concept, but just want to understand how it will help. Wouldn't ever become more incorporating grassroots as they will have OCI to depend on? Anish, I don't think so. I think if you look at other countries, the OCI angle is to strengthen the national team. If you strengthen the national team, that will most probably strengthen your overall system. So from that perspective, I would say um, it would help Indian football in the short, in the mid, and the long run. And I think that there would be more investment coming into the system. So therefore, if you ask me, I think OCIs would be a value add, and it's not a short-term fix. To me, if OCIs come in, OCIs will stay. And maybe looking at our current standard, more and more OCIs coming, um, you know, means that it is likely that more origin players will get into the system. But we need to change our legislations, our laws to enable OCI players to come in. Otherwise, you know, yeah, very difficult at the moment. Now, what can we do now? Give up or support the clubs who are fighting for their survival? No, support. Don't support, again, support the club, support the players, support the system. I know supporting players is a controversial thing to say because all people saying, oh, the players overplayed this, that. Yeah. But again, very difficult. I can answer that, Murali. USA integrated soccer to university system. You can get full scholarship to college. This motivates many people and works as feeder to MLS. Yeah, but very right. And the college system is something totally different because sorry. Um, we in Europe live through the academy system. Look at Japan, Korea, where you live through the school system. So there are different models to go through. China has tried to copy the European model without it working really. Why is it not showing? Sorry. Ooh. Ah. Most ISL clubs are going to shut down, sir. Sorry, had to reconnect to the system. Rakesh had asked, most ISL clubs are going to shut down, sir. That's a possibility. Yeah. So, and at the moment, I don't see the AFF organizing any kind of league. If you ask me if the AFF is going to organize any kind of league, I don't see that happening. Right. So, that's the question that we have, and it's a big question to ask. But to me, the All India Football Federation is in no position to organize any kind of league. If that's our conversation at this moment in time, given the realities of things with Indian football, right? So therefore, yeah, it's a problem. It's a huge problem, and it's a huge challenge at the moment. Right. Oopala, what is it doing? Okay. Quick reminder. One second. Why is this not showing? Um, quick reminder. If you haven't, like, share, subscribe. 20 likes so far. I think we can do better, guys, with so many of you watching today. And the subscription stand at 3,558. Thank you very much. We need to grow. Thanks a lot for over 1,000 views yesterday of my watch along. I was about to say my discussion with Hiren and Playmaker India. Also, thank you. Those of you who haven't watched my interview on Drogba's new channel, um, Zero Ball Knowledge. I'm his first ever interview, more than 50 minutes on Indian football. And as always, thank you for the support. Bala, where is it? Do you think Gurpreet and Chetri brought breakdown in abroad myth? Yes, yes. Both of them made them better. Yes. Yes, also a world class system producing athletes overall, which helps, anyways. It's science driven. Shushmi, not only that, I think America is infrastructure wise, and you guys have much better infrastructure in sports at school and college level, right? You guys have a proper system which we in Europe per se don't have, right? We've got very dedicated sports teachers, what we say, but the infrastructure nowhere near what you have in the US. Hamza Chaudhuri or Jackson Irvine? Murali, both of them are good players, but Jackson Irvine is now a Bundesliga player, captain of St. Pauli, different level. I think Gurpreet was the real thing with Starbeck had he stayed on. I think also what should he could have, but again, the offer of BFC at the time was too good for him not to accept, and therefore Gurpreet came back to India. The idea of OCI injection will help Indian national team do well and in turn bring investment that will be spent on grassroots. That's the hope. Thanks, Shushmit. Very well summed up. If FSDL contract is not renewed, many clubs will shut shops. Takna, there is no FSDL. At the moment, there is no contract extension. There has to be a negotiation of a new contract. At the moment, contract dead. The contract ended 15 days ago on the 8th of the sorry, 8th of December 2025. The contract between FSDL or Reliance owned FSDL, originally IMG Reliance, with the AIFF ended. Where do you stay in Germany? Where do you see, I think, is they're a team between the first and second tier, Murali, St. Pauli. Guys, many ISL clubs have shut down, so be mentally prepared. Yeah, Shushmi. Not only ISL, I think I League, I League 2, I League 3. Why East Bengal voted against the ISL Cup? Rakesh, I think it's about the Anwar Ali case, if you ask me. Because East Bengal is that cousin in the family will do exact opposite of what the family does. No, Shushmit, again, you'll say that as an East Bengal, as a Mohun Bagan fan, but again, even Mohun Bagan has done things in again, um, right? So let's not get into that discussion. But East Bengal is against it because I think Kalyan Chaube has offered them a carrot in regard to the Anwar Ali case. And it seems like East Bengal and Imami are not on the same page in this matter. East Bengal has a notion that the world hates them and are conspiring against them. This helps with accepting 2-decade-long failure. Yeah, maybe. Playing sport, music, art in US is expensive, but still they keep churning out world-class standard players because the system is flawless. Also, given the social structure, they have a safety net if one is unsuccessful. Yeah, yeah, maybe. But Shushmit says system is not flawless. One biggest issue is that unless you're exceptional, you have lesser chance to make it. If you're poor, coaching is very expensive for everything. Yeah, but you can get in America, guys. Correct me, Uchut and Shushmit. A lot of scholarships, right, for sports. So maybe that is something which is an opportunity, so to say, to get things going. You know. So yeah, different league, different world. Why is it not going? Sorry. Is it not working? Sorry. Without leak, FIFA banners. No, Rakesh, I'm trying to get your comment. One second. Let me try. There it is. Will no. With the league happening, not happening is not a FIFA matter per se, right? It has some connotations in regard to uh, what FIFA might see right or wrong within a country, um, but it's not a reason to ban. Except, of course, if it can be proven that the federation is working against the interest of the sport, and the problem is the system is not willing to pass on that information to the authority, to the global authorities to act on these matters, right? VIP culture and Messi best exposed. Yeah, really. I mean, if you and I and we didn't know that VIP culture in India is a problem, then Messi's tour exposed it to a bad level. Again, every venue had its issues. If Kolkata had its issues that VIPs didn't allow people to have a view of Messi and then the violence erupted, then in Hyderabad, the chief minister trying to play football, please, sir, with all due respect, play football in your private time, but don't try to play with Lionel Messi, right? It is embarrassing. Mumbai, chief minister's wife taking pictures of Messi and saying, hey, Rodrigo Paul, just can you get out of the way? Then you've got Delhi with Jay Shah doing his ticket promotion, Bollywood promotion, this, that, everything. And then we've got Vantara. I don't really know where to start and where to end. So by December 29th, we will a lot of clubs shutting shop right then. Friend, let's wait and see. I know that certain teams are desperate to survive, or the officials want their teams to survive. Let's put it this way. I don't know what the status is with the owners, so we'll have to wait and see. I don't know the answer. Scholarship is when you reach a certain level, you have to invest a lot before you get there. Okay. Understood. Thanks, Sushmit. Now, what's the three-man committee for? I think clubs want long-term viability, right? About the league stuff, such as this season, but for long-term future. Then we're talking about two things. Uh, uh, you know, uh, 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 the point is that the AIFF at the moment wants to sort out the system for the next few months. And if I'm a club, if I was managing a club, my point from start to finish would be, what are you offering me in 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years? And that's the problem. That is the problem. Um, and the three-man committee, different representations. Interesting. Kerala, Bengal, Goa all together. But the approach of Goa, Kerala, and Bengal will be different on this matter. So are they really speaking in one voice? So no, they're not. Scholarships are given at both school and college. Sorry. Um, Scholarships are given at both school and colleges for parents who can't afford, not just for exceptional performers, says Uchut. And Shushmit says, I stand corrected. In that case, I saw a document regarding this, how rich has more chance of success due to better access than general public. Okay. You guys live in America. You guys know better than me, most probably. So I can't judge it. I know that, Shushmit, I've heard about the things what you're saying. But on the other side, I also have heard things about regarding Uchut. And I know certain people who've got their kids into sports programs who wouldn't have had the money to really do that, even in costly sports like tennis and golf. Got to bounce, guys. Have a good night. Thanks, Shushmit. Good night to you, or good afternoon to you in the US, to you and to Uchut. Once more, the reminder regarding tomorrow live watch along. FC Goa versus FC Istiklal here on Arun Foot. Yeah, maybe one last final dance for and with FC Goa. I hope not. I wish not, but that might be. So therefore, guys, maybe we get ready for that. And yeah, it's I don't want to think about it that way, but it is something that we might have to think about. It's yeah, maybe one last time we see FC Goa in action. The Gores. I've got a lot of memories regarding FC Goa, even though it's not or was not is not my team, but FC Goa. I remember our first meeting in Goa, and then a few days later, Mumbai, both nil nils. The 2015 final, right? I think 2 hours before the match, I didn't have a ticket, and then someone organized it and got it done, and I watched it, and it was one of the craziest uh, matches to see. Goa leading in the 89th minute, and then Mendoza scoring 2 goals and Chennai walking away with the title. Where in the 89th minute, it was an FC Goa party, and then in the end, it was a silence, and then that violence regarding that broke out. I remember seeing Ilano sitting on a chair in the police station in Margao. Yeah, remember Mumbai City losing 7-0 to Goa, and then big wins last season, playoff comeback. Um, Mumbai City in the semis, 2-0 down, and then 3 goals, especially Changte, exceptional. Ah, I don't want it to end tomorrow. I wish that FC Goa and all the other teams survive, not only in the ISL, but in the I League as well, because we need them for Indian football. And yeah, very difficult times. So let's support him, and let's see what happens. Wonderful discussion today. Let's keep supporting Indian football, which is very important. And I said this again. Baba has done a clipping of me on that as well, um, saying, I will always say, never stop supporting Indian football. We need we all need to support Indian football, and you know, so that's the thing. Recently, FIFA warned our Indian football. Yes, Rakesh, they've done that on a number of occasions over the years. Yeah, but again, at the moment, it is an internal matter. We need to sort it, and which we aren't, and therefore we are in the mess we are in. Right? FC Goa gonna shut down. Shivani, it is a possibility. Right? It is a real possibility, and is it gonna happen? I don't know, but it is a possibility given the realities of things at the moment. So therefore, let's sadly be prepared for it. And about the players, yeah, the contract ends and force majeure, and yeah, from January onwards, the players can search for a new club. Within India, I guess it'll be difficult, but outside of India, maybe they'll find something. So therefore, these are all realities of things, brutal as they are, but that's where we stand at this moment in time with Indian football. Right, nearly 100 minutes on this live 23rd of December 2025. A difficult one in the end, right? Because I would love to have spoken more about football and only about football, but the realities are as they are, and it's difficult. And yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know what to say, guys. So if you haven't, like this video, this discussion, thanks a lot also to you guys. Without you, this conversation, this discussion wouldn't have been possible. Uh, Share it with others. I think it's one of those. Again, I know it's a longer piece, but I think it's worth listening. It's therefore like it, share it, and if you haven't, do subscribe to Arun Foot here on YouTube. Um, we're growing as a community. I've always said I try to be the voice of truth, of conscience of Indian football. 3,560 people now being subscribers of the channel. Thank you very much. We're growing slowly but clearly. Um, as I said, my aim was to get to 4,000 again. It's a little far off. 440 more. Who knows? And watch the short videos that I try and make on a regular basis. I said, did something on the Indian women's team that the AIFF needs to support them. I need your support to watch that video, the other videos as well. But in short, I try to explain things, the situation as it stands, and yeah, these are the realities of things as it stands at the moment. And what should players do now, Shivani? It's a good question. It is for them, for their agents, to figure out what do you want to do, what can you do, what you should do. Right? It is a big question, and I think some of them need to think about, for little money, try and play abroad, because no one's going to pay you anything close to what you are getting. Otherwise, I don't know. Some players might sit around for 6 months and hope that something happens, or 5 months. I don't know. Very difficult. Very, very, very difficult to suggest something to the players, Shivani. Um, yeah, what to do or not to do. Right. As there are no more questions and queries, this video, Arun Foot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias. Again, some interesting content on Instagram. Visit arunfoot.com. And yeah, keep on supporting Indian football. Don't stop supporting Indian football. And Renal, I take this as the last question or observation. Do you think clubs reacted too late? They should have asked for their proper representation earlier, right? They realized without ISL, they will be shut down now. Renal, yes. If you think that the proper ISL league meeting happened in August 2014 and then in 2025, then you know what the problem is. As long as Reliance was there, running it for the clubs didn't have to worry about anything, right? And I know that certain clubs, certain people within clubs are trying to fight to keep the ISL alive, club football alive, and they're struggling. And not easy, not easy. And so therefore, again, tomorrow, watch along, do join it. As Anish says, thanks for the insightful discussion. Thank you, Anish, for joining in and your questions as well. And thank you to all of you. And let's now stop supporting Indian football. Indian football needs you all. It needs you, it needs me. And that's it. No leaks, how Indian football develop. Rakesh, the players need to be creative, in my opinion. Right. With that, 1 second, why is it not hiding the... Right. Thanks a lot. Zoravar, I'm actually about to leave. Guten Abend, good evening. But if you have one last point, Zoravar, I give you the chance for a last observation point, and then I'll end this live. Zoravar, if you want, quickly put in your query or observation. But again, thanks again. Good conversation, guys. But the situation looks very, very bleak. If we like it or not. And that's it. Rakesh, Indian players moving abroad. I don't know who's going to take them. That's the other thing. Where can the Indian players go? Right. And yeah, it's difficult. Very, very difficult. So therefore, once again, watch the short videos. Watch maybe some of the older stuff. There's a lot of things that I've said in the past. And keep on supporting Indian football. And keep on supporting me and me on the different platforms as Arun Foot, be it here on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, And yeah, you're welcome, Dark Knight. And with that, I'll end it tonight. Catch you tomorrow for the watch along. FC Goa versus FC Istiklal in the AFC Champions League 2. It might be a final game of an Indian club at that level, and why do you think there will be a league in second week? No. Who's the second week? Mid-February is my realistic target if anyone sorts it out by the end of next week. Durava, no chance. Next live tomorrow, Shivani. Watch along. 9:30 kickoff, FC Goa versus FC Istiklal in the AFC Champions League 2. So about 9:20, 9:25, I'll come back live. I'll catch you there tomorrow night. And I said, watch shorter videos. If you haven't, subscribe, like, share. Catch you tomorrow. Good night.